Hey guys, thanks for clicking on my face and checking out my channel. I am John Stark from MechTheMovieGuy.com, and this is a review of After Yang. I realize this is really late, but I did want to come back around to that third Colin Farrell amazing performance of 2022 and watch this film. So I'm a blind film critic. I watch films with audio description, and I rented this off of iTunes. So that I could get audio description from the Media Access Group, narrated by Darren Polish, who did a nice job on this title. So, good work. I've heard Darren on a couple things, and I think he's like a low-key narrator in that I don't know that he gets, I don't know that I give him necessarily the praise that he deserves. I feel like he somehow just falls out of maybe like if I had a top 10 narrators, I don't think he would make it, but he'd be like bubbling under. I think he's just maybe a little underrated for me. He seems to be a good pinch hitter type of thing. I don't know. He just comes in and it's like, oh, it's not one of the main people. Whose voice is that? Oh, it's Darren Polish. Okay. Like I haven't quite recognized his voice yet. So, but I've seen his name enough times that I'm like, oh, good job. As far as using audio description for this film is very visual in its style. So I would not recommend watching this without audio description. As a matter of fact, I actually tried watching this without audio description. Full disclosure, this film is totally available. It's an A24 film, and A24 has a deal right now with Showtime. And I attempted to watch this film without audio description on Showtime, and I had a really hard time understanding it. So I didn't even review it. I didn't even bother because I didn't finish the film. I couldn't follow it. I had no idea what was going on. So that's why I went ahead and did this. I mean, I don't review films I don't finish. So even when I gave Crimes of the Future that disturbingly low grade that I'm sure everybody was like, what? I did actually sit through the entire film. I willed myself to make it to the end. But with After Yang, I didn't. I backed out and I didn't want to ruin it. And then like months later, I was like, I really want to see After Yang. Yeah, I rented it. And it's a very visual film. It's a film that has its roots in science fiction. It's based on a short story, which I guess gives a really strong basis for this film. That it takes place, it's this little family. Colin Farrell plays the dad. Jodie Turner-Smith plays the mom. And they have a little girl named Mika. And they have a boy named Yang. However, Yang is not human. He's like an android. And no matter how realistic he may seem, he is still under there just a robot. So the film deals with Yang kind of breaks down, and it deals with the effect that has on the family and how close this family has come and relied on Yang and the experiences, and he was really like a part of the family. And Mika really was attached to him. She's really young, but she was really attached to what essentially was like her older brother, when you kind of look at the family dynamic. And it explores sort of the idea of, can we fix him? Is there anything that can be done here? The world has sort of interesting laws around what can and can't be done. What they can and can't do with his memories, and what becomes of his body, and all these different things. it's very sort of interesting that way. And Colin Farrell just sort of goes on this exploration of going through his memories and seeing what Yang saw, and reliving these moments. And we get to relive these moments that are all kind of beautiful and melancholy, and just it's like a living photo album for him almost. He puts on like high-tech glasses, and he can just kind of go through these scenes as Yang saw them. And it's kind of a beautiful film. It's a beautiful film in many ways about loss and family and things we take for granted and things we put importance into. And sort of also that what things in the future could happen, what we could have, what might happen, what's likely. The science fiction element of it is also interesting too, and it also deals with clones. Like in this world, clones also exist. So it's a very interesting movie. I'm really glad that I went with the audio description, because without it, I didn't really get what it was trying to do. And after audio description, I felt, I don't know, I just felt this sort of like warm, just quality, like the film just gave me a big hug in a way. It was like a big emotional hug. It's not necessarily a happy film, but it's also not necessarily a sad film. It's melancholy is the best word I could describe it. It has moments of everything in it. And it's just really well done. I don't know why this film doesn't have more traction. I mean, A24 has a lot of films it has to campaign this year. A24 could almost have the Best Picture race if they wanted to. You could almost, if people watched all of the A24 films that are like in Oscar consideration, they could almost just have like the Best Picture race. You know, you could go down the line and be like, okay, so we've got Everything Everywhere All at Once, we've got The Whale, we've got After Yang, we've got The Inspection, we've got Marcel Duchamp with Shoes On, you know. I mean, they're submitting so many films for Oscar consideration that, yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing. So I understand why maybe not all of them are, they can't waste their entire budget on Oscar campaigns for every single film. But it's a really nice film, and I really enjoyed it. And it just left me with like thoughtful feelings. Like I've been thinking about just sort of this world that they live in, and I've been thinking about films that are very similar to this, like AI, and what that had to say about it. Even films sort of outside the genre, like I, Robot, and what that film had to say about AI technology and the representation and how connected we were to that. So it's very, yeah, it did a lot for me, and it really worked, and I really enjoyed it. I think Colin Farrell in here is terrific. He was terrific in everything he did this year. He was terrific in this, he was terrific in The Batman, and he's terrific in The Banshees of Inisherin. We just need to give Colin Farrell just an award at the end of the year, just for being terrific. His 3 performances are like 3 of the best performances of the year, easily. So, just a great year for Colin Farrell. Jodie Turner-Smith, who doesn't have nearly the screen time that Colin Farrell does. She does really good work with the little bit of time that she does have. And then there are some smaller roles. Actually, the girl that plays Mika does a really nice job of not being like overly precocious, especially for her age. She's of that age where the kids are not expected to act that well. I don't know. If I had to guess her age, I would say 5, maybe 6. So she's just below the age where we start appreciating the totality of a performance from them. And we just kind of expect them to just not annoy us. And I thought she did a really nice job of not being a bit much. You know, it was just, she was always just the right amount, but she never felt like she was overacting. She never felt like she was acting in the movie. She just felt like she was being herself. And it was a really nice performance from a really young actress. And even the actor that plays Yang, I thought did a really nice job. He doesn't have that much to do, but when he does, it's so hauntingly beautiful. The way that he approaches his lines. And in the context in which he always ends up approaching them, they're always from the past tense. So it's always like watching somebody's hopes and dreams after the fact. So it's a really beautiful film, and I hope some more people see it. I think this is a really small film, and I think it flew way under the radar. But it's worth watching. So, like I said, the audio description on this is it's a science fiction film. You're gonna miss out on a lot, and it's very visual in the way that it goes after the memories, and accesses them, and the way that he can shuffle through things. There's just a whole lot of elements in here that don't work if you don't have audio description. It's not necessarily a dialogue-heavy movie. I thought the score to this was beautiful, too. There's another thing. The score is very underrated, but there's so many scenes where you're just kind of watching or listening or just sort of enjoying the images of the moments, and the score just does such a beautiful job of providing the tone for the film. It's just a really great film. So I enjoyed it a lot, and I think you will too. It's not very long. It's a little over an hour and a half. So if you are looking for something to enjoy, if you like Colin Farrell and you're, jumping on the Colin Farrell train after his performances this year, I think this is a great way to start and check out another great film from him. If you're a fan of the A24 films, this is a film to check out too. So, I'm gonna give After Yang an A. Yeah. Good job, everybody. Good job, Team Yang. I guess really don't have any more to say than that. So, please consider subscribing to my channel. I like to talk about films with audio description and from a blind film critic's perspective. So it's what I do here. And I'd like to be able to do that and give audio description more of an audience so that we can get more audio description and more titles. And I don't have to rent a film that I technically have access to. That would be nice. It would be nice if Showtime had just given me the audio description so I didn't have to go rent a movie that I actually have access to, that I already pay for a subscription to. This is the problem with being blind in watching movies, is that just because we have access to it doesn't mean we have access to accessibility. So I'd love to be able to talk about that more. I'd love to be able to get into rooms where that kind of decision happens. Like, I want people to explain to me why I'm not important, why my community is not important enough to provide accessibility that already exists. Like, I found an audio description track and watched this film with an audio description track. So why won't you put that on when you're hosting the film? So I also have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on Twitter at MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org. It'll let you know who is working on your favorite narration, like Mr. Darren Polish. You can type him in and look up his resume and see all the various things he's done. So that's it for me for right now. I will review something else and get back to you guys, but until then, I will see you on the other side.